But I wanted to talk today about something that I've been going over, I've been studying, and it applies tremendously to chiropractic, is this issue of presence. Presence. You know, if you've seen my talks before, we talk about the energy field of the body, that the energy field and innate intelligence, pretty much the same thing, and how to generate this field and make your field bigger and have charisma and have attractiveness. And presence is kind of the basis of it all. What I love about presence is that as chiropractors, one of the most important parts of our job is to be present at that moment with the patient. Where I'm going with this, I listen to Eckhart Tolle lately every morning. I just listen to his CDs over and over again. Has anybody ever listened to Eckhart Tolle in the morning? My daughter, she can't stand it. This guy puts me to sleep. I said, that's because you're not ready for the lesson, grasshopper. Oh, shut up, Daddy. What do you know? The power of now. What is that all about? And then, actually, this is the one I was listening to this morning when I decided to change my talk for today and talk about presence, a new earth. And it's basically about the time is now. You know, I explain to my patients, I say, you got to calm down, man. Your neck hurts because you're a pain in the neck. You're causing a pain in the neck and you're getting a pain in the neck. I said, you either living too much in the past, which causes depression because you can't change the past and makes you depressed that you can't change it. Or you're living so far in the future, oh, Doc, I can't come in next Wednesday night. Why not? Oh, the traffic's going to be horrendous then. It's a week from now. What do you know? How do you know the traffic is going to be horrendous? Because if you're living in the future, you're going to feel anxiety. Because you're always worried about what's going to happen. So I say to my patients, and you guys know in my teachings, we talk a lot about the breath, and we're going to talk a little bit about the breath more later. But your breath brings you to this present moment. What was it, Mogwai, the turtle in Kung Fu Panda? Remember the line? The past is history, the future is a mystery. The present is now. That's why now is the time. That's why we call it present. That's your gift, the present moment. Eckhart Tolle says that's the only thing you have to do. We're driving one day, me and my wife, and we were listening to Eckhart Tolle out on a date. You know, we're going to the restaurant, and we come to a light, a beautiful sunny day, the sunroof was up, we're sitting there, and he says something profound in his Belgian accent. The time is now, whatever. I do a better Arnold than I do an Eckhart Tolle. And my wife looks at me, she goes, do you know how much money we're saving on shrinks with this guy? You're just re-listening to him over and over again. Because his message is very simple. There's nothing you need to do as a human being except to surrender to this now moment and be present in this now moment. That's where your power lies. That's where your power lies when you're a chiropractor. We are so fortunate that we are forced, that I didn't want to say forced, but we are always in the present with our patients, aren't we? Shouldn't we be? To be there at that present. And the first time I learned about it, I didn't even know this concept, was Dr. Larry Markson. He called it present time consciousness, being in that present moment. Another great man, John DeMartini, he calls it one of the qualities of a healer, love. You got to have love in your heart. Right, Sam? Who I saw leave, you had to go to a function. Gratitude, thankfulness. DeMartini was all about, thank God I'm a chiropractor. I'm so grateful to be a chiropractor. So grateful to be of service to these people. Certainty. We'll talk about SOT in a second. What makes you certain in your practice? But the presence. The presence. And we did an interesting experiment with DeMartini at one of the seminars I went to. He said there is, I kind of lied a little bit. The time is not now. Because when you're in the now, there is no time. Remember, time is not real. Time is just our experience of measuring the past and the future. But when you're in the present moment, there is no time. Time explodes. Everything happens at the same time. Oops, I'm going a little too fast there. So Martini said this. I'm like, what are you, crazy? What are you talking about? Well, he says Einstein says there's no such thing as time. Everything happens at the present moment. So he had us do a little exercise to demonstrate this. And we had 2 concentric circles. A circle on the outside of people sitting, looking in, and a circle on the inside of people looking out. I don't remember the full name of the guy who was my partner. His name was John. And what we were instructed to do is only look with our left eye into your partner's left eye. Soul to soul, right brain to right brain. What you were trying to do is look into their soul. And we would start breathing. It felt like I was in an Indian ritual, an Indian chants. And as we did this, I can't tell you how much time we were doing this. And I'm looking at this guy's eye, and many people had the similar experience. We started going to dream time. Now, you know what a dream, I could be looking at your face, and your face can change into different faces. This guy's face started to change into different faces right in front of my eyes. Was I seeing his soul? Was I seeing his whole history? Was I seeing everything happening at once in his face? I think so. His face looked like the day he was married. As I was looking, that's the day. His face looked like he was dead. His face looked like when he was a youngster with a duck, you know, one of those slick back. His face kept changing, you know, as I'm like, holy, it's all changing. Everything, his whole life I could see. Then at one point he started to look like my mother, and then I freaked out. I stopped breathing after that. But it was like a dream. But I experienced it. And I got a glimpse of, yeah, everything happens now. It's happening right now. And with patience, that's what I say. You got to breathe. You can't breathe an hour ago. You can't breathe a day from now. You can only breathe right this second. That's why breath is always used as the medium to bring you to the present moment. George Leonard, you'd heard me talk about him, the Aikido master. We did a lot of seminars with him. And he had his concept in I know there's a couple of his books, The Way of Aikido and Mastery, 2 tremendous books about life. Will make you a better chiropractor to learn how other masters in other professions comport themselves. And he has the Japanese concept of Zenshin, which is relaxed alertness. Relaxed alertness. Because you got to be alert in the present moment, right? Here. And they would do up at the Esalen Institute where they did these workshops. He did workshops in human potential. They would play a game. Now, some of you who were born of late won't remember this, but they used to sell frozen orange juice in little cans. And you would pop off the top, and it was like a little disc. And in Japan, those discs became the stars, the throwing stars. So they would walk around with these things in their pocket. And the goal was to catch somebody unaware. And he said, it's amazing in the morning when you're walking to the workshop and you're walking through the woods and you're so alert because the next thing you know, bing, you get a frozen thing in the back of your neck. So I found it fascinating that that's how they trained their awareness of the present moment. And we're talking SOT. Major déjeuner. Now, is this a coincidence? I changed my talk and I put him in there and you're given category 2. So I met déjeuner. I've told this story before. I'll try to tell it in a different way to still make it entertaining. And I had just graduated from NYCC, which was a philosophical school at that time. And I went out to Omaha, Nebraska to go to the SOT seminar. And he was teaching one course. One day, he was teaching for like 2 or 3 hours, category 1. I said, I gotta go. The major, I gotta go. Talk about presence. I get to the room early. Stick my head. He's sitting there like this. By himself, he's just sitting there. He's just being present. I go in, I could almost feel his energy. Here's the grand wizard. The grand wizard of, in my mind, SOT is my technique, my favorite technique. So I slowly go up to him. He makes eye contact with me. I said, Major, it's a pleasure to meet you. The moment I touched his hand, I kid you not, electricity, electrical energy, nuclear, whatever it was, went up my arm and into my heart. Now, he didn't see, it wasn't a jolt. It was like you touched electricity, like you touched an outlet. But I didn't jolt. I just felt it. And that's why I still have this painting in my office. I felt like the wizard, I was the wizard's apprentice, I felt I absorbed some of that energy. And I was really, to this day, when you really have an experience in the present moment, it is eternal. You remember it just like it was yesterday. In fact, interesting side note, had a patient, to show how our memories are, I'm adjusting him. He's telling me how when he was a kid in Brooklyn, his grandfather would take him to the chiropractor for an adjustment, and then he would take him around the corner to the donut shop for the most delicious donuts he ever had. And as I'm working on his upper cell, he's like, Doc, I could smell those donuts right now. Talk about what a clear nervous system can sense, huh? Present. Okay, so let's go over some practical stuff here. This is Eckhart Tolle's 3 modalities of now. Now, you know my modality, which we're going to get into in a couple of seconds. How much time do I have?
You have 6 minutes.
Okay, I better still talk faster. His 3 modalities of being in the now, of being connected to your inner being, of being connected to the real you, being connected to the actual being that you are, being connected to the being that is observing your life. Take away your titles, take away your boy or a girl, take away your tall or short, take away everything that you label you with, and that's what's left, your being. That's the real you, your soul, your energy field, your aura, whatever you want to call it. And he says there's only really 3 ways you could be in the now. Number 1 is to accept it. This kind of goes for those things we don't like. So you either accept what you don't like and be at peace with that, have the peace, I don't like doing this, but I'm going to be at peace and do my best job I can because I'm at peace. If you don't want to do it, then you just stop doing it. I think there's some chiropractors in our profession that should just stop doing it because they can't accept what it is to be a real chiropractor. Then a more enlightened thing is enjoyment. That's a modality of now. If you're enjoying yourself, you're in the present moment. I say to patients, they say, Doc, what can I do for stress? I say, have fun. Do something you enjoy. Oh, I got no time for that. They say, I got no time for that. What do you enjoy? I enjoy playing the guitar. I enjoy drawing. I enjoy singing. I enjoy going to the chiropractor. I enjoy getting a massage. I enjoy acupuncture. I enjoy reading inspiring novels. I enjoy reading trashy novels. Do what you enjoy. Because when you enjoy, you're living life. That's what we're here for, to enjoy. Don't you enjoy going to your practice? Man, I'm going into my practice. I'm going to be in present time consciousness. I'm going to be in the now. I'm going to be connected to my inner being and my inner spirit. I'm going to be enjoying it. I'm going to be people with my adjustments. I'm going to help to bring them into more alignment with the now. And then finally we have enthusiasm, in theos, in God's spirit. Enthusiasm is enjoyment with an added goal, the structural tension of have some goal or some vision you're working towards. And in fact, that's even a lie, because when you are enthusiastic, you are like an arrow, you're pulled to the target. You're literally enjoying yourself so much, you have your goal, and you're being pulled to the target. Because in that point, when you are in the present moment, that's the only time you really have tremendous power. You have tremendous power when you align yourself with the energy of the universe. which is what you're doing when you're in that present moment. You know, the power of myth. Anybody like Joseph Campbell fans? There you go. You're just talking about it. Joseph Campbell. This is his take on it. I won't go through the whole thing because I only got probably 3 minutes left. Follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. He says, what was Sam saying before? You're working for the shkarol. You're working for the shkarol. You're not following your bliss. I have a lawyer come in today. This guy's so miserable. Oh, there's so much stress. I went on vacation. I felt great. As soon as I came back to the office, everything, running a small business. He's not following his bliss. If you're not following in your life whatever your bliss is, you're shortchanging yourself, and you will suffer. There we go. Hey, there's what you look like. That's what you really look like. Can you feel me? You feel my vibes over there? Okay, I've went through this before. It's your heart, your spinal heart axis, your entrainment between your breathing, your brain, and your heart. And I always say this to chiropractors. This is where you live. This is your adjustment right here. You're the lines. We work on those lines. The communication between the brain, heart, breathing, the entrainment of those of the breath with the vibrations of the heart and the brain to generate that field. That's what makes your field bigger. You guys know I've told this story before. Talk about the power of the present moment and the power of a chiropractic adjustment. He said, and I don't do a good imitation of him, but he said, if you were to listen to that subluxated spine, it would sound something like, and then you give the adjustment. Totally different vibrational tone of that human being through the nervous system, like hitting a tuning fork. Right, Rose? How many times did he say that? How does it look with your energy field? Here's an upper cervical. As you can see, that torus isn't looking too good. That energy field isn't looking too healthy. We do maybe an upper cervical toggle, maybe a little cranial. We're going to throw an extra cranial in there. And then once that torus comes back into alignment, go on. There we go. Now it's an energy field. That's what you do, people. Right? Don't people come out of your office? I gave an upper cervical today. The woman walked out of the office like this. I feel 10 inches taller. Right? Isn't that great when that happens? You know that you serve them in the now moment. Okay? So anybody want to get in touch with me, drpete.com. Always like to talk to chiropractors because we're brethren. Right, brother? All right. Thank you very much for allowing me to entertain you.
Peter Gratale!